welcome to Information Star. History of Sony. Sony was founded in 1946 by Ibuka Masaru and Akio Morita as Sushin Koguyo, Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Company. Ibuka and Morita started with 200,000 yen, just over $1,500 in a department store building. These two people, who were serving in the army during the Second World War, met each other, and by combining their abilities, they were able to claim the title of the most attractive business relationship in business history. Ibuka was the creative mind and innovator of the group, and Morita was in charge of management and marketing, so that the two complement Sony. Sony's first product was a rice cooker, which was Sony's first failure. After Sony's first failure, its founders, with more effort, were able to produce the first Japanese tape recorder inspired by its American model. This product, which was known as Type G, could not attract people's attention, and Sony once again showed itself in the Japanese market. Following the failures that occurred at the beginning of Sony's work, Ibuka and Morita thought of a solution, and finally, with a releases of 999 ways to use the tape recorder, people gradually learned how to use the device, and sales of Type G progressed. It became noticeable. When Japan was at war, people wanted to know the news, so the demand for Sony radios increased so much, and the founders had to expand their facilities. About Sony, choosing the right name for the newly founded Sony company was one of the challenges faced by the founders. Initially, it was decided to use TKK, a portmanteau of Tokyo Sushin Koguyo, but Tokyo Kyoko was known by that name in Japan. In Japan, Ibuka and Morita often referred to Sony as Tatsuko, but during a trip to America, Morita found that the word Tatsuko was difficult to Americans to pronounce. Finally, the two decided to name their company a combination of two word sounds, which means sound and sound in Latin, and the word Sony, a word for calling a young boy in America. In fact, they wanted to choose a name for their company that would be pronounced in the same way all over the world, and it was nothing but Sony. Sony's initial actions. Sony, which was one of the new companies in Japan at that time, tried its best to attract people's attention with its different and innovation products. Morita Akio, who was a capable manager and a skilled business person, understood that the American market could benefit Sony more than any other country, and if they showed themselves there, they could achieve global sales. After the sales success of the Type G and transistor radios, Sony began producing the first portable television. The technologies of the time were such that televisions were so heavy that they could be moved by a few people with difficulty. But Sony claimed to have produced a portable television. In this TV, radio waves were used to broadcast images, which made people to turn to this magical product instead of buying bulky TVs. The founders of Sony had established the first Japanese company with extraordinary innovation, which introduced new inventions and products into its product line every year. In 1971, Sony unveiled a video player capable of displaying tapes on television in color. Following that, Sony unveiled its first portable cassette player called the Walkman. With the ability to play cassette tapes anywhere, this device allowed users to listen to their favorite content anywhere. Other Sony products were CD player, cameras, mobile phone, and PlayStation, which we will examine each of them in a specialized way. Cooperation between Sony and Samsung. SLCD company was established in 2004, with Sony's cooperation proposal to Samsung. This cooperation made Sony to achieve significant progress in the production of LCD panels. Although Samsung bought all of Sony's shares in 2011 and became the owner of SLCD, Sony was able to develop and produce high-quality panels during this collaboration. Sony products. Sony is one of the cluster and multinational Japanese companies which is fierce competitor of Samsung and LG brands. Sony game consoles gaming. It is almost impossible for anyone to have played with gaming consoles once and not have heard of Sony. It is no secret that Sony is the best manufacturer of gaming consoles in the world. Versions 1, 2, 3, 4, and portable PlayStation revolutionized the gaming world. The Last of Us, Uncharted 2, Mind Thieves, God of War 3, games produced for PS3 and PS4, and now Demon's Souls and Deathloop for PS5 are the most popular games of Sony. Sony cameras. Sony brand has a special position in the field of photography cameras. The first camera manufactured by Sony entered the market in 1995, which was able to record high-quality videos and images. In fact, the quality of Sony cameras can also be seen in mobile phones of this brand. After that, every year Sony products have been upgraded, and currently, Sony's Alpha generation cameras are among the best and highest quality cameras in the world. Sony brand laptops. Sony's first laptop called Vaio entered the Japanese market, which completely changed the definition of personal computers. As in the past, it was not necessary to occupy a large space to use a PC, and with Sony's slim laptops, people could use their laptops anywhere they wanted. Although Vaio is no longer a subsidiary of Sony and its laptops are not produced as before. Sony TVs. Sony's first portable TV brought a lot of sales and marked the start of this brand in the field of television. The first OLED TV hit the headline in 2007 with the release of Sony, but it was not well received due to its high price. In fact, we owe the development of LED screens to Sony. Sony TVs are ranked third after Samsung and LG. Of course, the quality of Sony TVs is an obvious thing, which does not need to be proven, but one of their weaknesses is the higher price compared to competitors. Master Series TVs. Sony Master Series TVs are the flagships of this brand every year. Every year, Sony releases its Master TVs using the latest and best technologies. These TVs are among the best models available in the market. Smartphones. Sony Ericsson phones were among the famous and smart mobile phones of the Sony company, which were produced in 2001 in collaboration with Sony and Ericsson. Sony used to market its mobile phones under the name of Sony Ericsson until in 2012. By purchasing the shares of Ericsson, it was able to launch its mobile phones under the name of Sony and gain a good rank among the largest mobile phone manufacturers. Sony phones no longer have fans. Sony was one of the leading mobile phone manufacturers until 2010, but due to several compelling reasons, it could not maintain this position. The third reason was Sony's unprofessional strategy. Users had to buy Sony phones to access quality cameras in mobile phones. But when Sony made its quality cameras available to other brands, the demand for Sony mobile phones decreased. The status of Sony. There are few people who have not heard of the Sony brand or have not used Sony products. However, the history of Sony, like other big companies in the world, is not free from failure and setbacks. The Japanese company Sony currently has more than 125,000 employees in different countries of the world. The central agency of this company is located in Minato, Tokyo, Japan. One of the most innovative and creative companies from 1990 to 2000 was Sony, and the different products of this company are not hidden from anyone. Sony products have achieved many successes, but along with these successes, Sony has faced many difficulties. The natural disaster in Japan due to its geographical location and the financial crisis that happened to Sony caused this Japanese company to lag behind its competitors. On the one hand, Sony's losses in the field of filmmaking and the lack of public acceptance of Sony phones, on the other hand, were intended to weaken this global brand, but Sony has been able to maintain its position among the world's successful companies. According to Sony, today's world only moves through power, creativity, and technology. Sony now. Sony is currently the best game consoles manufacturer in the world and one of the best television manufacturers. Sony cameras with excellent shooting quality are one of the most popular Sony products. In general, Sony's reputation is currently tied to its quality televisions, game consoles, cameras, and audio systems. Sony's famous slangs are like no other, be moved and make believe. This brand, with its strong roots and successful products, is one of the best companies in the world today. Thank you for watching our video. If the content was useful for you, please don't forget to like and subscribe.